Hey everyone, Lomyn with Force Disconnect with the Siren Crawmerax solo from the latest Borderlands DLC, The Secret Armory of General Knoxx. In this video I make no cuts, but I do speed up some sections for speed. I'm using a defender build, and then my tree is listed here. Nothing too spectacular, but a lot of survivability talents have been taken. I also have only moderate level equipment. I have not had enough chance to farm anything really great. For this fight, you're going to need a corrosive weapon for armored crawworms, a shock weapon for craw maggots, and a flame weapon for green crawworms. Crawmerax will spawn these adds at various points during the fight, and I prefer to use them in case of an emergency. However, you might want to just take them out when you see them with the appropriate elemental type. Okay, as soon as you reach the top, the first thing I try and do is quickly check for any craw maggots. In this case, I did not, and you'll see in a minute that almost becomes a problem. There's one right there that I almost missed. Craw maggots are the biggest pain in the ass I've seen in this fight, and the fact they're very fast and hit really hard. Generally speaking, I try and will them down to lower health and not finish them off, but in this case, I actually did end up killing it on accident. Whenever a Crawmerax dives into the ground or you're low in health, as you can see right now, you want to switch into phase walk and allow your inner glow to regenerate the majority of your health and your shields. Run away to a safe place and take some time to fire at Crawmerax. Here, however, I don't. The reason I do this is because in the case that I ever am in a down but not out situation, need to bring somebody back to life, or need something to bring back to life, I like to have at least a few craw maggots whittled down, or some of the armored crawworms, so that way just a single shot will revive me rather than having to hopefully blast one from full health down to nothing, which can be quite difficult, especially when you have all the adds pumping on top of each other. You see that I have them all down low, things look dangerous, so I phase walk and run away. At this point, you start taking pot shots at Crawmerax to do everything you can to try and hit those weak spots on the giant enemy crab. The best points I found hit the spots on his back or in his arms when he comes around a boulder such as this. Generally speaking, it's really hard to get these shots in, so when you have the opportunity to hit them, you should go for it. Crawmerax can only be damaged in the glowing areas that you can see on the screen right now, and although sometimes the bullets will pass through certain parts of his body, such as his claws or different parts of his shell, it's best to take the shots when they're presented to you as they are in the situation right here, especially the one on the back. When given the shots or choice between any shots in this game on Crawmerax, you should always take the shot in the back. This is the hardest spot to hit, and there have been many times I've been trying to attempt this solo where I've died with just that one spot left. While phase walking, I do often try and get on the side so I have a pillar between Crawmerax and myself. The reason for this is that occasionally when you do this, Crawmerax will almost glitch out and face away from you and just face the wall as if you hadn't been able to see you. This is one of the very few chances you can get to land a few shots on his back. I'm uncertain if this is a glitch or intentional and a line of sight issue. However, in the current time, this seems to be the best way to get the shots on the spot on his back and the ones on the back of his claws. Again, if you take too much damage, run away. Continue to fire at Crawmerax's weak points and attempt to damage him as much as you can. As you can see right there, I've done enough damage to one of his claws to knock it off of him. This is one of the cruel parts of this fight, and the fact that once you've done enough damage to a specific point of his body, the game takes it away from you, forcing you to target other parts of him. This is why attacking the part on the back as often as you can is so important, because it will eventually be the only spot left on him and you will need to take it out in order to kill him. Occasionally during the fight, Crawmerax will rear up. This is a great time to try and take out one of his claws. It is entirely possible to take a claw off in one round when this happens. However, you need to be incredibly accurate. In this video, as you can see, I just wasn't able to make it happen because it's a bit too panicky. Okay, as I mentioned earlier in the video, when you get the pillars between yourself and Crawmerax, you will occasionally be put in this situation. I have a clean shot at his back, I'm going to take it as best as I can. If you wait too long, Crawmerax will resume attacking you, so you only have a few seconds while he's in this state. You can see at this point that my combat rifle is just about empty, and this is actually why I picked the combat rifle first. I'm less comfortable with the weapon, and when there are more spots on Crawmerax for me to hit and it requires me to be less accurate to hit them, I'd rather use a weapon where I don't mind missing a few shots, as opposed to having to finish off the last parts of his body with a gun I'm not comfortable with. At this point, my phase walk is down, and Crawmerax has me down on the ground. Remember those Crawmerax from earlier? This is why I'm glad they're here. When it comes to getting the last few spots in Crawmerax's back, I found it's best to try and run him around this gateway-shaped stone formation. Usually he'll turn around it, and you'll be given a free shot at either the spots on the backs of his claws or the back of Crawmerax himself. With only the back of Crawmerax left, this is both one of the easiest and most difficult parts of the fight. It's easy in the fact you now are only aiming for one spot, so you can narrow your strategy down to simply find a way to turn him around. The challenge is that the one spot is hard to get him to expose. As you can see here, unless he's going through either one of those holes or just taking an unusually long amount of time to pass, you usually won't get a very clean shot. And if it exposes itself, it's only for a few seconds at best. Once you hit it, Crawmerax is out. Go forth and collect your loot. I hope you enjoyed my guide about soloing Crawmerax with Lilith. This has been Lomyn with ForceDisconnect.com. Visit us on the web at www.forcedisconnect.com or email us at forcedisconnect@gmail.com. Have a good time, guys. Go kill some Crawmerax, get your achievements, get some loot. And remember, Force Disconnect is the core gamer's advocate.